Hello there. This is what is crazy about the Godzilla Kong Supernova movie, just from the freaking title, just from the logo, just from the fact that they are showing the outer space, the galaxies, the sort of fiery logo surrounding the Supernova letters. It really just builds a lot of hype in the fandom and has me personally more hyped for this movie than I have been for any MonsterVerse movie since Godzilla King of the Monsters, since we last saw a major Toho villain involved in these movies. But in this video, we are going to dive into everything we know about the mystery cosmic villain coming to the MonsterVerse, who it could potentially be, whether it's a Toho Titan or going to be an original Titan. We're going to get into all this stuff. I'm going to explain it all for you guys. If you're into this kind of stuff, if you're into MonsterVerse content, then check out my channel. I have a whole bunch more just like this, and let's get into it.
The Atomic Fair.
So yeah, as I was saying, the MonsterVerse is looking to introduce its first major cosmic conflict with Godzilla Kong Supernova, and that is very evident just from the trailer. But who is this going to be? Is it going to be Space Godzilla? Is it going to be Gigan? There are so many rumors floating around, there are so many theories floating around on who it could potentially be, but I'm going to give you guys all of the details that we know so far about who it actually most likely is. So in Godzilla Kong The New Empire, we saw the introduction of original Titans, the first movie where we really went heavily into original Titans and diverted away from Godzilla vs. Kong or Godzilla King of the Monsters route, where we sort of saw original Toho Titans brung into the MonsterVerse, revitalized for a modern audience, and then also kind of introducing some original Titans that were made by Legendary in the MonsterVerse as well, and kind of meshing it together. But in Godzilla Kong The New Empire specifically, which is kind of the most successful MonsterVerse film, we actually saw purely original Titans, with only Mothra being the returning Toho Titan, who's kind of an ally at this point. We had no classic Toho villains. Is that going to be the case with Godzilla Kong Supernova? Well, it seems like, honestly, we're just following the money. It seems like most likely what's going to happen in this movie, just based off current rumors, is that we're going to see a potential winged Godzilla pop up in this movie. This is something that was teased in Godzilla vs. Kong, in some of the scrapped artwork and stuff for that movie, that was teasing a mural that was showing a Godzilla from outer space, and it seems like that is something that we are going to see pop up in this movie. That seems like this is going to be the main plot. This is going to be the main villain of this film, and whether or not that is the MonsterVerse version of Space Godzilla, or whether or not it is actually a completely original Titan, is something that we don't know for sure yet. But just based on the money, based on things that have happened in the past and where the MonsterVerse seems to be headed, it seems like we're heading in a direction where we're going to get an original Titan. Now, this could potentially not even be a winged Godzilla. This could potentially be a completely original cosmic villain, but I do think this is going to be the MonsterVerse take on Space Godzilla. I do think there's going to be a lot of liberties taken with the design of this creature. I don't think it's going to be super similar to the original Space Godzilla that we saw in the 90s. I do think it is going to be their way of kind of differentiating it from Space Godzilla, maybe saving them from having to buy the rights from Toho, but also being very inspired by the creature and also reinventing it kind of for a modern age. I do not think this is going to be the way that they reinterpreted King Ghidorah and actually brung the specific monster into the MonsterVerse and introduced it in the modern day. I don't think that's something we're going to see with Space Godzilla. I think this is going to be probably, if anything, they're going to follow the subplot that a lot of fan theories have had, including my own, that is Zo's Lahala, where a lot of people are thinking that the Godzilla who ate a star is actually going to end up being an evil Godzilla from outer space. I do think there's a heavy chance that we see something like that, compared to actually seeing them buy the rights to the MonsterVerse version, buy the rights to the Toho version of Space Godzilla, and bring him into the MonsterVerse, even bring in the designs like the crystals and stuff like that. Even though there's a chance we could see something like that, I don't really think there's a huge probability that they are going to, even though they could include some of the design elements such as the crystals on this version of the MonsterVerse Space Godzilla, I don't think they're specifically going to recreate that design for the modern age. I think it will be reinterpreted in many ways. I do not think it will be called Space Godzilla. I think it'll have a different name, similar to how Burning Godzilla that we see in Godzilla 2019 isn't exactly the same as the version that we saw in the 1990s. Very similar to the Fire Godzilla form that we see in Godzilla 2019, Godzilla King of the Monsters, is drastically different than the burning Godzilla that we saw in Godzilla vs. Destroya in 1995, where that version of Godzilla was melting down and dying and sort of overheating. This version of Godzilla was a supercharged form that was kind of drastically different than that OG form, but took a lot of liberties and inspirations from that original design. That is something that we are most likely going to see for this mystery cosmic villain coming to Godzilla Kong Supernova. So keep an eye out for all this stuff. Kind of expect us to see a similarly inspired cosmic villain as Space Godzilla, but not exactly the same thing. If anything, I think it'll look more similar to that cave drawing where we see a possibly radically different looking Godzilla with wings and potentially some crystals or some spikes on him. I don't know. We'll have to see when the design for the creature comes out, but comment down below. Let me know what you guys think about all this stuff. Let me know what you think about the idea of a cosmic villain for Godzilla Kong Supernova. How hyped does it get you guys? I feel like this has revitalized a lot of hype in the fandom, where I feel like the hype was kind of dying down post Godzilla Kong the New Empire. Now I feel like it's getting revitalized to a place that I haven't really seen it since Godzilla vs. Kong. So comment down below. Let me know what you guys think about all this stuff. And for this video, that is all I got. So until the next one, be safe and stay well. Bye-bye.